Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing? This is a well, comparatively quick live stream to present specifically the question: should Jameis Winston have re-signed with the Saints as he did, or test the free agent market? And I say, what do you think, right? And so Winston have re-signed with the Saints as he did, or test the free agent market? And I say, what do you think, right? And so Winston have re-signed. What do you think? And it was so nice I had to say it twice, right? But I'm going to go on the record. I'll just get the ball rolling. I'm happy he decided to sign with the Saints. Let me put things in perspective. My thinking on this was always that I wanted the Saints to keep Jameis and give him the starting job and focus on Jameis. But I supine that Winston was really, really damaged. And I've actually blogged this and vlogged this, that he suffered, as you know, if you're a fan of this, a broken back. All right, a broken back against the Falcons. Think about that. He broke his back. I have never in my life broken my back. And I have 6 decades of life on this earth. I have never broken my back. I don't want to know in this life or the next life what it feels like to break my back. Right? This man did that to start the NFL season. Okay? To start the NFL season. All right? To start the NFL season last year against the Falcons, after having led them to the greatest comeback in Saints history. Scintillating. Then he broke his foot or injured his foot against the Panthers while still having an unoperated on broken back, untreated, hasn't been able to heal. Then he went into the Carolina Panthers game, which was the Bucks game, the second game. The third game against the Panthers was an awful game plan with terrible blocking scheme that clearly the coaching staff had done no preparation to deal with, and left Jameis a sitting duck, literally ducking blitzing linebackers and not giving him a repertoire of short passes to throw, like 13 or 15. Nothing of them. Nothing like that. And the result was, well, one would expect. He was sacked a great deal. He threw a pick six because he's trying to make a bad game plan look good. And that was, I think, has been Jameis' fault for most of his career. Jameis Winston has been in some really awfully designed offenses. Awfully. Where the coaches, this started off with Lovie Smith having Dirk Carter as the offensive coordinator. Then Dirk Carter became the head coach, which I thought was a weird move. It was like, hey, did you stab Lovie in the back? Just saying. But that's how it looked, okay? But Dirk Carter becomes the head coach, brings in Todd Monken, who really did Jameis no favors. Why? Because, Todd, and I want you to keep in mind what I'm saying to you, those Lamar Jackson fans out there like me. Todd does not understand, even to this day, how to use space to achieve the objective of the open receiver. I'm not saying he doesn't do it. He does do that, but he does it through pattern, okay? For example, having a tight end or slot back go across the formation after the snap and then run up, like that sort of thing, right? Okay? But when it comes to using his formations to create space pre-snap, that's not Monken's thing. And it's a weakness. And yet he would take this weakness and then open his mouth and then criticize Jameis recently for playing in his awfully designed offense that I reached out to Todd Monken and criticized him about on Twitter 6 years ago because he didn't have movement plays for Jameis. He didn't understand how to properly design a play action pass. Now he's coming from Georgia And with 2 national championships under his belt, everyone, almost everyone, because I don't, thinks he's some sort of offensive genius. Todd Monken was fortunate to coach the football organization that, as of right now, I think Colorado is going to give them a run for their money in the future, the near future, with Deion Sanders, does have the best talent in college football. Georgia, if you can't design a simple, basic, effective, implementable game plan for them, you shouldn't be in football. But their talent is so much above the majority of teams, the organizations they go up against, that you have room to play around with different ideas and experiment here and there. Not much, but you have room. But compared to the NFL, it's a ton of room. Okay, a ton of room. So I know I took off and hear more talk about Jameis, but the bottom line is I'm really stressing the point that Todd Monken was terrible offensive coordinator, and then he gave way for the Bucs to when Bruce Arians was hired as head coach. Bruce Arians had Byron Leftwich, and there was a promising preseason that looked like, hey, these guys are going to use actually a short passing game with 3 steps and all that because they're using that in practice, but they didn't implement it during the games. Jameis Winston in 2019 never once was asked to run a 3-step drop. Okay, 1, 2, 3, boom, 5-step. Okay, waggle pass. Well, actually, more bootleg. Okay, waggle, yeah. Not. In fact, I take that back. Waggle, yes. Bootleg, no. Well, I should say waggle, yes. Rollout, no, because a waggle pass is another variation of a bootleg. Same terminology, same thing in different terminology. Both call for a rollout without protection. So you're faking the run to the left, you bootleg to the right, or waggle to the right. All right. Jameis did that against the 49ers. Tom Monken didn't have him do that. I'm sorry. But Byron Leftwich did. But not a 3-step drop back pass. In fact, I have the Bruce Arians playbook. There is not a large repertoire of 3-step drops in it. And what's there is completely nonsensical in its design. Let me show you what I'm talking about. While I have you here, I'm going to open up the playbook, euphemistically speaking. But it's a rather disappointing affair to look at. And as a whole, let me see here. Bucks, I had that listed. PDF. Yeah, there it is. Found it. That's what happens when I have a big database, right? Okay, now this is open. Cool. All right. This is the playbook that was used at the Arizona Cardinals in 2016, the same one that Coach Arians brought to the Buccaneers in 2019 and asked Byron Leftwich to run or to teach. And right here, it starts off with these, grow from the past, one day at a time, be disciplined and accountable, recreating identity, But yeah. Then it's got that, right? But the pièce de résistance of these plays, all right? I might jump right over to, there's the round installations, but I type right over to the plays like this one. And this is trips right. Trips because it's 3 wide receivers on the right side, the tight end, the flanker, actually fullback, and then the flanker on the outside, all right? And the quarterback, in this instance, it's called, if you go scroll down, he has a nice little chart here. I like the way he raises this out. This is how I do it. 5 steps, okay? Now, he doesn't say 5 big steps like Bill Walsh would say. 3 big steps too little, right? Or very, 3 big steps too little. Some plays say that. But what Arians specializes in is, all right, if the MOFC is middle of field closed, C. If the middle of field is closed, means it's open, there's no safety. MOFO means middle of field open, which means you have a safety. It's asking you to run a seam pattern, 5-step drop seam pattern, okay? But then look at the blocking, all right? This is pure demonstration of not thinking about time. So you have the halfback behind the quarterback a good 5 yards. Arians is asking the halfback to take essentially a bad angle for a check and through. He's asking Arians to come from the backfield, run up, have an inside position against a linebacker who may be listening from the outside. All right. There's no hot read here. There's no place to quickly go with the ball. So the quarterback has to drop back. But when the quarterback drops back, here's the big enchilada question. Where's the primary receiver? Answer, there is none. Okay? Answer, there is none. Who do I throw to and why? He's got the split in and the flanker running deep patterns, but they're not called to an alert. So if they're happen to be open for a touchdown, Arians is not telling his quarterback, in this case Winston, to go there. All right? You have to wait, if you're the quarterback, for the halfback to travel 5 yards before he goes across the line of scrimmage. That takes time. The flanker to block, and then he goes up 5 yards, but he goes either in or out. All right? It seems to assume man coverage. There's no instruction there. All right? While the tight end is going out like that 5 yards, you have to wait 5 yards while your linebackers are coming in at a shorter distance and your defensive line people, so you don't effectively have time to get rid of the ball quickly. You are really trusting the idea that you have a great offensive line. That's awful. But more important, you do not have a play to go to, a receiver to go to quickly. There's no hot read. And people like to say it's risk it, no biscuit. This is more like, stupid McStupid. I'm sorry, it is. Because you ask a person to play in this, like Winston, or before him, Carson Palmer, who admitted he got beat up a lot in this system, and trying to make water out of wine. And you're dealing with players that are not attuned to questioning their coaches. All right? Especially the few now greater number of African Americans at quarterback, they're so happy to be quarterback. The last thing they're going to think about doing is questioning their coach, unlike their white counterparts like Tom Brady or somebody else. All right? So here, Jameis is just trying to please, and his coaches, offensive coordinators, all white, have asked him to play in these stupid offenses, and they don't want to take the blame for the system. Arians did on occasion, but not as much as he should. He should have fired himself to begin with. But he put this crap out there for use. And all of you ate it up. And all you guys do, because you're so easily brainwashed by what you hear in the media overall, or you don't like that he's a black person, because some of you are screwed up like that mentally. And so the first thing you do is criticize him because you think somebody white should be there. And that's including some black folks. All right? I'm being really blunt about this. Okay? So if you're leaving the discussion, fine. T-Cell asks a question. Why do you think he kept Jameis Winston instead of Dalton when he said Dalton replaced JW due to play? Something tells me Jameis injury worse we thought. T-Cell, that's the question of the day. I'm going to get to that. All right? Because the first stanza of Jameis Winston's injury tour happened in this offense. It happened here. Okay? with plays like that, all right? With plays like that, I can go on. I can go on. There's a lot of plays like this, a number of them. Look at this one. Trey Wright, Z play, 62 semi-F angle. I've seen them run this play. This is also a 5-step drop. The same set of problems, but worse. Take a look at the split in on the left, running 10 yards up, then going to the out, right? And if you get pressed, he takes on the fly. Cool. But who am I throwing to number one? It says SADB and Will. I can expect coverage from either one of these three. Okay, fine. But so what? So what? Does that mean he's number one? If I'm told that I should expect a DB, do I throw to him? Is there an adjustment? It makes no sense whatsoever. He has to explain it. When you're drawing a play, folks, you have to remember somebody else is going to run it. And if you're drawing something that you can't run yourself or haven't, you have no business doing it. But Arians did it. I'll bet your credits to Navy Beans, Bruce Arians himself wouldn't run this offense if he were of the physical ability to do so. He would have to make adjustments along the way. Tom Brady did. This is a mess. Yet this is what Jameis Winston was asked to run, this mess. Look at this. You got the halfback coming out on that same angle I criticized, right? But look at where he is. Let's say the halfback tries to get out really quick and then turns out. And let's say the halfback gets out there quick in such a way that he happens to be in what is a passing lane for the split end. So guess what happens? Who's he going to take with him more often than not? The outside linebacker or safety, right? And thereby lead that person right into an interception and a pick six. Okay? So this is designed. That's the outcome. You have to play in this offense enough times, if you're given that chance, to know not to make that throw at all. Okay? You're better off with the press route. In fact, you're better off altering the play in the huddle if you have time or before the game. This is a bad play. So I'm told to look on the left, am I? Or why not just simply pay attention to Bruce Arians' poorly designed version of the Texas route where he's got the tight end going up, the fullback going out, and then coming back in, the angle, all right? Kind of a nod to Mike Martz, right? I don't know. This is a mess. Total mess of order, total mess of design. But Arians put this out there, asked Jameis to run it, and basically tarred and feathered Jameis Winston's reputation with it and didn't apologize. Bruce Arians ought to be ashamed of himself for putting this crap out there. And yet that's what he has done. This is crap. Look at this. Bunch right 62 bench. This one is one of his famous, is a 7-step drop, okay? Again, where's the hot? There's no hot. I've shown you 3 plays, no hot receiver. This one, I have to wait 16 yards for my guy to get downfield. There's no one to throw to who would be quickly wide open. Tight end, middle of field open, middle of field close. Okay, but I still have to wait for him to get down, 11, 12 yards and then break. I'm taking a 7-step drop. You time it out. If you think about it, you've got a potential situation where the tight end is running middle of field closed cross field, which makes no sense to me. Cross field. If the middle of the field is closed, make him exploit it and have him go straight up. Why is he running cross field? Okay, but that's what he has him doing. And this is Tam, sits down if the middle is open, there, okay? That should be, the way this is done, that should be your number 2, and your number 1 ought to be your fullback going on a circle. Actually, your number 1 ought to be the flanker going straight up. But he doesn't have that. He's trying to mirror Somewhere, and this is like you copied Steve Spurrier's playbook and thought, I'll just copy Steve Spurrier's patterns because they're cool. But my point is, yeah, they're cool, better for a play action setup where you have more time to throw. This one, you get killed in this sucker. Straight up, you will get killed. Okay. Specs says Jameis would have definitely left. He says, imagine if Tampa would have kept Levy earlier in Jameis's career. But even then, yeah, but not with Dirk Carter as the offensive coordinator, because Dirk didn't do him any favors either. Remember, Jameis's first play against the Buccaneers in his entire career was preseason. First pass was preseason against Minnesota out of an ace formation, double tight. Dirk had two tight ends going up like this. They weren't going in or out like Bill Walsh would have you go out like that and come back in. No, they were just going up. So Bruce, so excuse me, I get them mixed up because the mistakes they make. But Dirk, who I actually personally like, I've talked to, but Dirk, who says he thinks of Jameis as one of his kids, okay? Dirk put his kid in a situation where he was asking him to just throw to the tight end without a break. Just throw to him. And he did, and it got picked off by the safety. Why? This is a case of him telling Jameis what to do. Jameis does it faithfully. He gets Jameis in trouble. Jameis is not there to think for him. And that's what I hate about all of this. A lot of you ask quarterbacks, young kids, to think for their older bosses who put them in terrible plays that are designed like this one, and as opposed to turn them into great plays. No. If the coach doesn't know how to design a play properly, the coach should not be running a professional multi-billion-dollar organization in football at the NFL level, really any level. This is crap. This is physics lessons, time motion studies. How much time do I have to get rid of the ball? Don't talk to me about my line or maybe my line's not good enough, and then you're going to tell me you have to wait an extra year when you don't know how to design a simple pattern to give your quarterback a quick outlet. You don't know how to tear the defense apart with your formations to get the expectation of open receiver. Easy to do. You can do it with pre-shifting. 4 in the backfield and a wing T. Shift out of him into a 4x1. And then shift again with one receiver. Have one receiver standing there, turns around and gets the ball. I guarantee you there will be nobody on that receiver. Especially if you only need a yard. Why not, right? Psst, get a yard. Maybe you get 2. Maybe you get 20. I mean, you want to advance the ball, right? The whole purpose is to advance the football. But you can't advance the football properly if you're getting your quarterback killed or ask your quarterback to do stupid things or look in stupid ways. But people treat these kids like this and they think it's good. And some of you belch it out for sport. And then it comes, well, Jameis Winston threw this. Well, how about, hey, you know what? That offense was terribly designed. Bruce Arians had an awful offense that Jameis Winston was asked to run. Try saying that. Try tweeting that out. Try putting that on Facebook or whatever social media you use. Just try using it in conversation. This offense was for crap. Crap. You hear me? Crap, crap, crap. All right? Crap. Spec says, imagine if Tampa got that one. He says, Carter and Monken and Arians were terrible. Awful. And Byron, too, for letting his, reputation get tarnished by this and then allowing himself, the specter, of basically sitting there and being Tom Brady's water boy. All right? Brain. Instead, they had him, all verticals. Absolutely. Bad stuff. And it's right. He should have played Bill Walsh. I don't care if it was Bill Walsh or Mike Holmgren or Steve Mariucci, who I've talked to about Jameis many times, or John Gruden. Jameis Winston would have emerged with better numbers than he has and is, a passer rating miles better than even Derek Carr's. All right? You heard that right here. Okay. Instead, they treated Jameis Winston like he was a big black guy who could throw long passes and oh boy, all that jazz, that psycho stuff that makes people not want to use their brains and design offenses that work, that are fun to watch. This stuff hurts, you know? It hurts to go over this stuff because it's so badly designed. It gives me a bellyache, and I got one right now. Excuse me. Yeah. Bad stuff. So don't tell me Bruce Arians is a genius, as some people do. He's a genius. So I'm thinking, wow, like Bill Walsh, right? No. Besides, definition of a genius is a person with a very short eraser and a constantly sharpened pencil. Why is the eraser short? Because they're always changing things, looking for things that are better. The only time Arians did that was because, hey, Tom Brady asked him to, and as Arians himself said, I've got to listen to him. He's got 6 rings. Really? What about engineering principles? Huh? What about physics? Huh? What about doing things that make sense? Here's another one. I got to wait 12 yards. I take 5 steps, right? 5-step action. Now we're dropping out 12 yards. And who am I throwing to? Tight end. There's nobody to block him. And look, he's got the halfback back here doing that same action. Once again, folks, no hot read. Okay, no hot read. Here's another one. Where's the hot read? I don't see one. There's no one running a, circle pattern, not a circle pattern out of the backfield, but the kind of flare pattern, right? That Walsh had. Roger Craig made a lot of money off of. Flare pattern, or Walsh would call some of them M patterns, just dump offs. Some of you call them dump offs. Nothing wrong with a dump off, especially when doing stuff like this. You need a complementary. And note, folks, all right, don't ever use the term, look at me, okay? Don't ever use the term check down when talking about Bruce Arians' offense, because no play here had a check down. Understand what a check down is. A check down is you look short, you look deep, deep's not open, or it's an alert, and then you come down to your flare pattern and you throw the flare, or you look to throw the out pattern, but your linebacker's in a zone going up to basically cut off that, okay? Particularly if it's 4 short, 3 deep zone, and you're throwing where the quarterback is rotated down, and the quarterback, because the cornerback on that side is rotated up. And so the cornerback on the other side is rotated down. So when you have that kind of rotation, linebacker is going to be going right into that lane. If you don't throw it just so to the out pattern, guess what it gets? Picked off. That's classic, okay? Arians has plays that basically will get you picked off and you wind up doing pick sixes. Oh, Jameis did that, right? Yeah, look at the design of the plays, folks. Look at the Arians playbook, okay? He says he has to be a runner like Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Then T-Cell says he should give his energy to SFU now and dish up the NFL. What's the purpose of being backup when he should be starting? Just seems corrupt. Here's my thought on that. I think the Saints know now, I'm convinced, that they didn't treat Jameis the right way. They've heard it enough. It's on social media. It's got to be in the conversation in New Orleans. You go out, all right? Okay? And this is absolutely true. You're right, okay? Hey, Vinny, I think you should have gone on a team looking for a starter. Cool. But hey, Vinny, how come you're not here on the video? I know why. Never mind. But the whole point is, thanks for this. But my point is that, my point is coming back to this, okay? This is why he stayed in, among other reasons. I can't play the video for copyright reasons, but it's called GOAT